Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday, March 7th, 2022. It is 12:41 p.m. here in San Diego, California. This has been a big weekend for myself. This is a movie I've been talking about for 2 years now. Trailers and actor announcements and movie release dates and everything in between. I've been wildly excited for this. So this has been a fun weekend for me. Today, joining me, we have Conor Sheeran, Elton Jones, Elizabeth Pagano. This is our nerd squad from 1:37pm, and we're going to be reacting to The Batman today. The movie's doing quite well at the box office, over 180 million at the box office, I think, on opening weekend, which is rather stellar. Second best opening, I think, since the COVID pandemic, right behind Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, I think we have to go around, just one sentence reaction to what you saw over the weekend. Conor Sheeran, start us off.
Great movie, little too long. That's my one sentence review.
All right, Elton.
3 hours felt like 20 minutes.
Perfect. I love the debate already. And Elizabeth.
I actually just have one word, and that is just, well, actually two, the Batmobile.
Oh.
So yeah, I have a hunch we will be discussing the Batmobile to some length during this discussion. Exceeded high expectations, which is mine, right? Maybe this isn't the Michael Jordan of movies or superhero movies or Batman movies, right? But Michael Jordan didn't come into the league with the pressure of being, oh, this could be the greatest basketball player of all time. I think of this more as the LeBron, someone who at 16 years old was listed as the chosen one on Sports Illustrated's, cover magazine. And for me, that's been the Batman. I've been saying this is going to be the hottest movie of the year. I know that this is going to be a great movie. I love the actors. I love the directors. And for a movie to fulfill that expectation is pretty ridiculous. Conor, what do you make of like expectations versus reality when you go into a movie?
Well, this movie specifically, I mean, like you were saying, the expectations based on, we've talked about it too, that the trailers were just unbelievable for this movie. Like some of the best I've ever seen. Some of the best I've ever seen. Which one thing I will say is like, they didn't spoil anything from the movie, but I kind of wish they showed like less. Like a lot of the scenes from the trailers were in the movie.
Right.
And I feel like that's not a common thing with comic book movies. They try to throw like a little misdirection in there, but a lot of them were in were in the movie, which kind of surprised me. But yeah, expectations personally were, extremely high, especially because some people saw it before, I did. I didn't see it till Saturday, and a lot of people I knew and trusted had seen it before me. And then forget it. The reviews came out last Monday.
Over it.
I mean, like IGN said it's 10 out of 10. Like some other places are like, it's unbelievable. It's like, it's obviously the best Batman movie since The Dark Knight. Some people saying it's better than The Dark Knight. So expectations for me couldn't have been higher. Did it exceed them? I'd say it at least matched them.
Yeah, which in my opinion is a win. Elizabeth, what do you make of expectations when you go into a movie theater?
In general, I feel like I always end up having like lower expectations, but this one, like, I had super high expectations for, because everybody was like, there was so like a huge buzz just surrounding this movie for months on end. And then you're kind of like just leading up to this moment. And you're like, okay, we're here. We're sitting in the theater. What's going to happen? Is this actually going to live up to it? And it totally did. I don't know if it exceeded it, like Conor said, but it definitely was amazing.
Elton, you wait around every year for some version of a Dark Knight story, right? Whether it be a comic, whether it be an animated, cartoon movie, whatever. It might be a live action movie in this case. What do you make of expectations? You've seen 20 different versions of the Caped Crusader in your fandom, right? Like, what do you want when you go into a theater like this? Like, yo, if this doesn't have this, I'm going to be upset.
Well, the thing was, I played all the Arkham games like weeks before, and I just said to myself, like, a lot of these Batman films don't really go into the detective crime noir stylings of Batman. And when I went to see this movie, I got what I wanted. Like, every time he would like interact with the GCPD and just kind of walk real slow. And it took me a while to adjust. Like, is he walking slow to set the ambiance and be like, you can't fuck with me, I'm a badass? Or was it like, I'm trying to survey the area? Obviously, it was option B. So I took that in as in like, oh, it matched my expectations. I wanted a Batman that carefully surveyed everything and was like, listen, I can fight, I can break arms, I can intimidate, But and fear, of course, is my main element. But I'm also here to solve things. I'm putting things together. I'm making sure things don't happen before they actually happen. Which, when you think about it, you kind of failed at that part in the last second. But we'll get to that. But Batman as a whole, it gave me the whole I'm the world's greatest detective. I got there for 3 hours. I was exceeded my expectations.
1000%, and it was so fulfilling from my end, right? Like in the Arkham games, if you play Arkham,
yeah,
the detective part of it, I'm wearing the detective lens during these Arkham video games for 80% of the video game because I enjoy trying to find all the clues or whatever. Let's start with this because Elton, you brought up the concept of fear, right? And that's an important conversation when you're talking about the Batman. That opening intro. I mean, the first 7, 8, 9 minutes of this thing. God damn, was that some cold-blooded shit. So we get the Riddler stalking out, right? He's staking out his plan. But then you got these 5 villains, right? And each of them are committing a different crime throughout Gotham. And you see how the Batman's reputation impacts some villains, how the Batman himself, how one interaction will change, but just the slow reveal. And then, you get the owls. What's the proper name for the owls that we see at the very beginning?
The Court of Owls, I believe.
I think you're right. Yeah. And the slow reveal with the music playing as he's taking every single step and the drum hitting. Connor, what are the emotions running through you during those first 9 minutes where it is just absolutely perfect?
Are we talking about the Batman or the Riddler reveal? Because both of them are just like
both.
Both.
It's both. The truth
personally,
is
personally, I was more, I was more in on the Riddler reveal because at first it's not a misdirection, but it's kind of like you're seeing this and it's like, are they going to show like the Waynes getting murdered again? Is that what we're watching here? Like, are they setting something up for that? And you're kind of like, you see the parents kind of like playing with the kid and it's like, is that what they're showing us here? And then it's like, oh no, wait, this is the mayor of Gotham. He's watching that, he's not doing all that well in the, this election or whatever. And then like the thunder hits and the lightning flashes and the Riddler's just standing there. And I was just like, I'm sitting in the theater and my jaw dropped. I was like, and not even that. It's like the mayor's just walking back and forth. He's on the phone. It's like, okay, when is he going to turn around? Because the Riddler's not moving. Like, when is he going to turn around? And then he doesn't. And then the Riddler just bashes him over the head. And this was low key one of like my one of the better parts is that I don't know if it was like if they said maybe it wasn't his first kill or not, or if it was his first kill, it's very sloppy, very shoddy job. You can tell it's like he just bashes him over the head, and then you can tell that it's at least one of his early kills. He's not totally like got everything put together just yet.
Right.
Perhaps it's a sign that the Riddler will realize his shortcomings and he'll need the Batman. Right at the end of the movie, we have this conversation between the Riddler and the Batman. The Riddler's like, hey, I'm the brains over here. All you have to do is instill a little fear, and we're a great team.
Just put him in the
light. I mean, we'll get to it, but that's...
Yeah. Might be a good call out there, Connor. Elizabeth, when you think about the great creepy serial killer villains that we've got in the history of cinema, what does that intro make you feel? Where does the Riddler compare amongst those other serial killers in cinema's history?
Okay, first of all, there's like a massive fire truck coming down, and there's like it's like insane.
The
right now.
Joker's
like,
at it again.
New York City.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Are you right by Gotham Square Garden?
Oh my. Okay, first of all, I want to like go off on Gotham Square Garden because that was like hilarious to me. I lost it when they had that up. I think they're gone now, though.
Okay. You're good. Serial killers, and when you see those first 5 minutes of the Riddler, where does your mind go as a movie lover?
Oh my god. Well, it was just like the lead up was insane, and like Connor was saying, like you as the audience, at first I didn't even see him behind the mayor, and I was like, oh wait, he's like literally like right behind him. First of all, like, why aren't you turning around and noticing that there's somebody else? Like, you're just so like unaware. Like,
gotta turn the volume down on that
his
TV,
career is on the line. His career's on the line. He's
True.
watching news.
It's true. Yeah, that's a good point. And I wasn't sure if the mayor was gonna turn around, if like Riddler was gonna just like come at him, but he really takes his time and he waits. And then I thought it was weird that he like screams like before he died. I'm like, it's like there's no like element of surprise, just like a scream and then you get hit, not just like a hit and then you're just in silence. But I thought that scene was incredible.
Very, very good. Elton, as a Batman historian, that Riddler intro, where's that rank amongst the villain reveals in the history of Batman or the story of Gotham?
Oh, way better than Jim Carrey just putting this little thing contraption on his head and being shocked into craziness or whatever. But
yeah.
Just like I'm a people watcher. So I'm like in the front row where like the neck breaker seats are right in front of me. So everyone's just kind of like this. I'm like watching them like, well, how are they gonna react to this? So you can tell a lot of people brought their girlfriends and boyfriends because you heard like audible sighs, like, oh my God, he's right behind you, like, oh, scary movie vibes. Yes, they're enjoying this. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, if they're enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. So it was just crazy seeing how Riddler is not like this, funny kind of quippy guy. He's like a creepy Zodiac killer who has amazing breathing, by the way. Just for 10 seconds, just like you didn't hear a thing. But yeah, like I just like how they presented him as this like first time killer. He has all the brains, but just the brawn isn't there. But he's gonna take care of his task, however they need to be taken care of. But just real sloppy at what he's doing, but he gets it done, and he's always 10 steps ahead of everyone else, as we saw throughout the film. Just the reveal, man. Just I love how he just like clobbered the guy, and the guy you could clearly hear him. He's doing some like dirty shit. He was getting into some like real political, politic and doing something dirty. So it was like kind of had it coming. You know what I mean? So.
I think so for sure. Let's talk about something that I think has been universally revered, and I think it's the music on this thing. The score is, I mean, I will say this in terms of expectations. I never thought a score could come close to The Dark Knight, and I think I preferred this score, which is really saying something. Like I really do not say that lightly, right? Like the comparison to The Dark Knight's obviously a big deal. This felt as epic of a score as I've felt with any movie in a really long time, and I think it fit the tone perfectly. Elizabeth, what do you make of the score?
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. And I also didn't know that they were going to have the same track that they used for the trailer, the Nirvana song, in it. Oh my God. At the beginning when they were using that, it was so incredible. And then they also used it again towards the end. And I liked how even just like that weren't actual songs, whatever the score that they made kind of like mimicked that like deep like bass they got going on. It was such a like nice transition into that.
They literally I think they sampled the animated series intro. So the old Batman cartoon, they sampled it, to create the new one. Yeah, it's literally based off like the same key as that one. So if you listen to it, you'll hear the similarities.
Music nerd Bo, I like this side of
you. Oh yeah. Well, and the Nirvana song is Something in the Way,
yeah.
Fucking awesome. My girlfriend's kind of like a hard rock not bougie expert, but takes her rock and roll very seriously. So she wasn't as thrilled to have Nirvana in there. She thought it was like a little mainstream. But I was like, no, you're wrong. Like it was so fucking good.
Perfect.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Connor, I know you're a sucker for cinematography and score, but let's start with score first. What do you make of it?
I think it's interesting you said that, you think you liked it better than Hans Zimmer's for The Dark Knight. I think and this honestly goes back to comparing the movies in general. They suit, like both of those suit what type of movie these are so perfectly. Like sampling the Nirvana, doing like Ave Maria, which was kind of like the Riddler's thing.
Yes.
Doing both of those like kind of throughout. Like it's like the Ave Maria obviously again plays in like the future scene with the Riddler and Batman, but like they both just played so like intricately throughout, and it was just so like It's perfect. So shout out, I forget, I can't. I'm always bad at pronouncing Italian.
Pronunciation stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Giacchino, I think. I'm definitely butchering
that's
that.
right.
I'm Irish. I can't pronounce Italian names. I'm sorry. But shout out to him. Just a small list of movies that he's done.
You want to read it here, Connor, for me?
Wikipedia, Connor, let's go.
Ratatouille.
Oh my god,
Fire.
incredible!
Interesting.
Fire. Another
When you're
amazing.
comparing it to Jojo Rabbit, which was very, I liked that.
Film, right?
Which was a kind of surprise. Did all 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, which I loved, and he did Rogue One.
Oh,
one of the best Star Wars movies. And that also ties into something with the cinematography, because the cinematographer for Rogue One did this movie, and was it Greg Fraser?
Yeah.
And
that's what I got. I got Greg Fraser.
And I guess what? As a Star Wars nerd, you can see Baby Yoda right over my shoulder.
Yes, sir.
For anyone that's seen Rogue One, tell me that the Batman hallway scene didn't immediately make you think of Vader chopping down all the rebels in the hallway.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I mean, it was. I couldn't stop thinking about that. I'm like, both these scenes are incredible. I just couldn't. That's the first thing that jumped into my head, and I'm like, now it makes sense why they look so similar, and pretty much why both scenes are in like these movies.
One more comparison to make between Rogue One and this movie. That intro to Darth Vader, they don't show the lightsaber first.
Yeah.
Right? It's a dark. You hear the breathing first.
Yeah.
Very, very reminiscent of what we get here with this Riddler, because this is probably as distinctive like a breathing pattern we've gotten since Darth Vader. Like, this is immediately like, oh shit, Riddler, clearly him, no one else it could be. To our Batman reaction listeners and watchers here on the 137pm YouTube page, the secret word for the Poe app for this video is all caps vengeance 137. Vengeance 137, all caps, secret Poe app word. Y'all know the drill. I think it's time to get into some of the fun stuff here, because there's a few things that stand out. So I've got like 3 areas that I think are really good. So I want to do favorite action sequence. I want to do favorite acting performance, and then just your one pet peeve maybe with the movie, because we're at 22 minutes or so right now. It's not quite that much, but we're almost at the 20-minute mark. So we're going to do those 3. Elton, your favorite action sequence from the Batman?
When Batman busted into that damn, was it Gotham Square Garden from like the top, and just I remember it was like quiet in the theater at first, and you heard the explosion, and the glass comes down, and everyone's like, yeah! Well, everyone just went nuts, and he beat up all like the Riddler's like social media followers or whatever with the dark web.
Riddler's incel army.
Yeah,
basically.
like the Riddler metaverse or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, just the brutality, man. And then the scene from the trailer with the gun, like kung fu, where he's like, gun, flip over, break arm, flip guy over. Oh, just magical, man. And just everything about that scene where it's like he's clearly by himself. Gordon's looking up, Catwoman sees him, and they're like, we're gonna help him, but
we gotta go help him.
Yeah, we gotta go help him. Let him work his magic for a little bit. It's just the shotgun blast where just the sound goes off. He's dead for a while, and just I was worried that he was dead. There's like 2 sequences where I thought he was dead. That and the when he cut the wire and it fell into the water.
Oh
I'm
yes.
like, are they gonna kill him in his first film? Damn, Matt Reeves, you bold, bro. But this is an amazing sequence. Everything goes back to the Batman Arkham games. That was clearly like a Predator, like his combo multiplied went to like 20 by the time he was done beating up all those guys.
Totally agree, Ellen. Connor, you're up. Favorite action sequence?
I mean, I just went off on it, but probably that hallway sequence. I think it's not all lit up. Like, the only time you see him doing anything is when the guns are going off.
Yes.
So it's like the flash.
So
And it's either that or the chase sequence when he's like going after the Penguin. Like, that was just filmed so perfectly. The Batmobile is so cool. Like, I think this is my new favorite Batmobile, because it's just like this big muscle car. And when it's introduced, it's like the Penguin's looking down next to the building, and same thing. It's like you just hear the engine turn over, and the Penguin's just standing there. He doesn't even look like scared yet. He's just there in the rain, and he's just staring it down. And then he's like, "Oh wait, I need to get out of here."
Mouth agape, like
I need to leave. And he's out of there in such a hurry. He leaves behind like the like the corrupt cop or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like drives off. And then that whole sequence of just driving on the on the highway, he's chasing him down, and then obviously we get the shot from the trailer where, you know, he comes flying through the explosion. You get the turned over car, Batman walking to it.
Oh. Amen, Connor. Elizabeth, give us your favorite action sequence.
It is definitely also the Batmobile scene.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Just like the roar of the engine.
Mhm.
And I was in the Dolby theater, so you could like feel it in the seats. It was
Yeah.
insanely
Theme
good.
park vibrations, right?
We
You,
didn't see
you
it-
almost,
we-
yes.
We didn't see it at the same time, Elizabeth, but we saw it in the same theater.
We were in the exact
Like,
same theater, yes.
Exact same theater.
You could feel it like in the chair before like you saw it like happening on the screen. So it was like, okay, wait, something's about to happen. And then it just takes off. I love the scene where Penguin thinks he's totally in the clear and he's like, oh, like I got him. And then he just shoots out. Oh my God. It was incredible. That was one of the best cars like chase scenes I've ever seen in my life.
It went for a while too, and I was like, I remember in my brain, I'm like, oh, whoa, the Matrix Reloaded scene with the two guys with the clear dreads. I'm like thinking about that scene. I'm like, no, this was like nighttime. You can see every little thing and just the gas lean. Oh,
in the
amazing.
rain, like it's perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Gotham
perfectly
City,
shot.
the rainiest city on the planet.
Good
Rain
Lord.
For the whole movie.
Damn, New York in April, boy.
Yeah, I think this was the most beautifully shot action sequences I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, like, listen to the words that I'm saying right now. Like, all I do is go see action movies
Right.
that are in theaters with big sounds and explosions. So it was remarkably good. Whether it be the intro against the Court of Owls, where he's got the electrifier on the guy's neck, which I thought was unbelievable. The car chase scene, though, it's undeniably my pick for this movie. And the reveal, not the reveal, but when he knocks over Penguin and the camera's turning and you've got the Batman walking upside down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg
That was
Fraser,
incredible.
get in your bag, big fella. I mean, he is all in his bag with that one. That was
Again,
for sure.
and that's a shot we saw from the trailer, and even in the movie, it didn't lessen.
Still hits.
It still hit like so
Yeah.
hard. Like,
I'll start here for favorite acting performance because, I mean, honestly, across the board, everyone was really good. I love John Turturro, like one of my, probably favorite actors in Hollywood, but there's no correct answer probably other than Paul Dano and Colin Firth here.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, excuse me. Penguin. Penguin
now you got me
is-
thinking Colin Firth is the Penguin. And like,
Can't get names out of my head now, too.
oh yeah.
Colin
Yeah.
Farrell, I mean, had I not known that he's in this
Yeah.
movie, you would never know. There's not even,
Yeah.
I don't care how many movies you've seen of his. I don't care how many movies you've seen. You would never put it together that Colin Farrell's the Penguin in this movie. So that'll be my pick, favorite acting performance. The Penguin is outstanding in this thing. And you only see his character going up and getting more power and more power hungry. I'm like, oh my God, by the third movie, he's going to be such a pain in the ass to the
Yeah.
Batman.
Shout out to the waddle he did for like 3 seconds.
Oh
when
my
he was-
God. That
Oh,
was so,
yes.
That was so funny.
Someone looked at me. We were like, he did the waddle. And everyone was
that
like,
whole,
what are you
that whole
talking about?
sequence was so good. The world's, oh, you guys call yourselves the world's greatest detectives? Don't even know Spanish? And then he's like,
Oh my God.
like not knowing that he's Spanish or whatever. That's one thing, not to jump ahead here, but that was one thing I did like. And it's very much felt like year 2 of Batman. Like he's not the
Yes.
world's greatest detective yet. Like he's making mistakes along the way. And that one obviously was just a big part of that. Like one of my favorite parts of the entire movie.
Love riddles. Loved them. I just like them in movies. Like I just like serial killers that use riddles. Like that's just, sign me up. I'm in for it all the time.
Yes.
And Batman
Elizabeth-
answered him quick, too. The guy that was like on the chair and
Oh, yeah.
he was
Oh
like,
my
Batman.
God.
Boom, 2 seconds. I'm like, damn, Batman?
Yep.
How do you
Just-
know this? Like,
Yeah,
He's
so
crushing
fast.
it. Like he's
It
crushing
was
it.
badass.
Yeah.
It was badass. Because okay, let's be honest. If Batman takes, or if Bruce Wayne takes one different turn in his life, he's the Riddler. So
Yeah.
I think we can. They're
Yeah.
not
They're
that
not wrong.
different.
It's between
not
Riddler
that
and like
different.
very lucky who wants to be a millionaire contestant, like game show contestant. Like Bruce Wayne wouldn't be out of here, just genius level into like winning every game you could think of. Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune.
Elizabeth, favorite acting performance.
they were also good, but I got to give it to Zoe Kravitz. She was an incredible Catwoman, and she literally like she moved like a cat would. Like she was like so agile. She was like creeping around, and I love that scene where she's in her apartment and Batman's like, "You got a lot of cats." I thought she put on a really great performance, especially when she was going through the club with the contacts on. That was an awesome scene.
Great scene.
She's a very good Catwoman in this movie. She is a great Selena Kyle in this movie.
Oh yes,
like
yes.
She's a very good Catwoman. She is a great Selena Kyle because when she doesn't have the mask on, I think she's just shining in this movie. Like completely owns the screen, owns the conversation. She's in charge when she's a part of the conversation, whether like you know it or not. Like when she's in the club and she's manipulating these people, she's just running laps around their heads.
Right.
These people are having a couple drinks. Connor, what do you got here? Best acting performance.
I'm going same thing. I think as you said, Bo, Paul Dano or Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
I think they both. Paul Dano, I think it was, just so good as the Riddler, and it makes it even better because he ended up being like almost two different characters. Like he's the Riddler, the serial killer with like the different voice. Like he's like just got the mask on. He's doing his whole thing, trying to intimidate. As we find out, not really intimidate Batman, but like do his whole thing. And then when he gets caught because he really gives himself up. And he's in the interrogation room with Batman, and you hear his like actual voice.
Yeah.
You hear like the way he's talking to Batman, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he's like this lunatic, but he's also this incredibly insecure person who's like, this is his whole life has molded him to this point. And the reason he's doing this is because, he's had such a rough life. There's a reason he's killing these certain people along the way. And it could see how genuinely heartbreaking it was for him when he found out that Batman wasn't like helping him along the way. Like they had that little misdirection from the trailers where you see it, like every letter just says for the Batman, when in actuality he thought he was helping him the whole time. And then also everything where he's just like he kept saying Bruce Wayne over and over, and you think your first instinct is to be like, how the hell does he know that he's Bruce Wayne? But it's like, no. I was like, Bruce Wayne's the only one we didn't get. Him thinking again is like, Batman's still helping me. But
you can see Batman was tense too, but it shows he's down. He's like, oh, no.
And it's just you can tell almost like just from Robert Pattinson's eyes that it's just like, shit, he's figured out that I'm actually Bruce Wayne. And then eventually he figures out again, he's like, oh wait, no, he doesn't know that I'm Bruce Wayne, like along the way. I think he was just, unbelievable.
Completely had me fooled. Completely had me fooled during the first
great
misdirection.
Like, great misdirection. Yeah, I was like, is he really gonna get found? It's like, are we doing a No Way Home thing where he's already getting found out? Like, come on.
But here's like, we're only doing this after one watch. When I go back to watch this thing, I'm now going to be looking for the signs that he does not know Bruce Wayne is Batman. Because the whole time I'm like, okay, what's Bruce leaving behind? How is like Riddler able to figure this out? So now I'm going to go back, and that'll be something that I certainly rewatch for. Do want to shout out because we mentioned the lenses, the contact recording.
Oh my god,
so cool,
man!
Snaps all the way around. Elton, favorite acting performance?
Oh, the dude that played James Gordon, man, just
Jeffrey
Wright,
Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. The whole movie, man.
Jeffrey Wright.
You could have.
Their relationship was one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Especially every time they would meet up and talk.
He kept calling Batman man. Like that cracked me up every time. He's like, we've been doing this for a year. I don't even know your name, man. Cracked me up.
I just loved how he was just the moral compass of everyone involved. The best sequence was when all the cops are like watching him. He's like talking to him like, all right, there's a door back there. You can go down. It's like, just hit me. Just punch me as hard as you can. And he gets on the roof like, you could have held your punch back there. He's like, I did. I'm like, oh shit. Jim was just amazing, man. Just the good cops. And then the scene when they finally get the main guy and they pull him outside the club and all the cops there's like, there's a few that are under your nail, your thumb, and all the cops like looking at him like, "Yeah, we got you now, buddy."
That's right.
Yeah, Jim was just, man, that's what I always look for. I look for a good Alfred and a good Jim, and I got both.
Needed more Alfred in this movie.
Yeah,
didn't get a whole lot. I feel like Andy Serkis got a little undersold. And
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of potential there, obviously, but could have used a little more Alfred.
Yeah, Bo, sorry. I spoiled my main complaint. Not enough Alfred.
No, well, no, it's okay. Let's talk about it, though. Here's my rule, though, right? If you don't like something, how do you change it? We don't just get to complain and say, oh, it's too long. You got to then pick what you're going to cut out. And if you're going to say, oh, I want more of, you have to address and say why it's worth it, right? I don't think we can just like make these criticisms and then not provide a solution. Yeah, I would have loved to seen more Alfred in this thing. And putting him in the coma was a tough decision. I wanted to see him solve more riddles.
Yeah.
I wanted to see him maybe provide assistance to Batman in terms of combat, because right in a lot of versions of Alfred, he's a former military and he helps train Bruce from a young age. They mention it very briefly, but I don't get the helping vibe from this Alfred as much as I do the other ones. But I don't think I can ask for more because I don't know what I would take away from other characters. I was too thrilled with what we got from Catwoman and Penguin and Falcone. It would have been a really tough decision. So would have liked to see more. Not sure I would do any changes though about it. I don't know. Do any of you have the same gripe or?
I would have liked maybe that whole hospital sequence. I kind of wanted it to be like they're in the middle of solving another like Zodiac code thing. But there's a moment where Batman realizes like, wait a minute, my father, he has something to do with this. And then there's like that big huff from him, like, all right, sit down, Bruce. Like I wanted a moment like that. They're sitting in the big like
time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's like in the big room and he's like some tea, like just get to the shit, Alfred. I would like to have that sequence.
Our second DC movie to address the suspect parenting of the Wayne family.
Yeah.
So the Joker family does it. Or the Joker movie, they discuss the Waynes, and I know a lot of people don't think that Arthur Fleck is Thomas Wayne's son.
Right.
They don't. A lot of people don't believe that. I'm not so sold. I interpreted it as, oh, Thomas Wayne may have had this fling, but he was such a powerful and wealthy person that he was able to like overlook it, make people not realize it. This movie, they kind of go for like, oh, he had someone killed. You know, Alfred explains that that's not the case, and he was really just trying to protect Martha. What do we make of the questioning of the Wayne morale? Elizabeth, what do you think?
I was happy they were, because in other films they just make it seem like Thomas Wayne was this like amazing person that like there's nothing bad about him, and this one really like dove into like some nitty-gritty stuff about their past, and I thought it was like really good that they did that.
Connor?
Agreed. I think portraying Thomas Wayne as like this like angel character that had no faults. I mean, they kind of did. Like it's like most of him is this good person. You can tell it. He's trying to do this thing to protect his wife. At first, like Bruce kind of thinks that he's doing it just to protect his political career, but he just wants to protect his wife. So he gets mixed in with Carmine Falcone a little too much, which they didn't remind me. They didn't confirm that Falcone had him killed, did they?
Alfred just said, I kind of have a sneaky suspicion he did. And then
Right. It's like they didn't confirm it, but it's like he kind of probably did, like that kind of thing. But no, I love that, and especially that he had such a big impact on why the Riddler became the Riddler. Like this thing goes away. Now we're basically using this, Foundation's funds as like our own personal like piggy bank to fund villainy throughout the city kind of thing. And I also loved like Riddler saying stuff like you were an orphan. No, you weren't. Being an orphan is 30 kids to a room. Being an orphan is
rat chewing on your fingers when you wake up.
Being an orphan is seeing a baby die every winter, like that sort of thing.
That was deep.
And Catwoman said the same thing to him. Like she didn't know he was Bruce Wayne, but saying the same thing. It's like, you can't judge me for what I'm doing. You're definitely, and she could tell. It's like, you definitely grew up wealthy. Like she could just tell. Even when they went to the orphanage and you saw like the after effects, it was like, oh, Bruce was like, oh, they're still there. Like people are still living there.
Yeah.
They do the same thing in Batman Begins. I think this hits harder though. In Batman Begins, he goes to I think actually Carmine Falcone's bar, and he's talking to him, and he goes, "You're Bruce Wayne. Like, don't come here with your pity party about what you didn't have. Like, you were born in your house because you guys were so wealthy." Like,
Right.
I think this one hits it on the head. The fact that Catwoman was able to tell he was born from wealth without realizing his identity, brilliant stuff. Absolutely loved it. I had one pet peeve, but then I kind of changed my mind on it overnight. So I'll say it, and then we can go around, and then you can give one last final thought to the movie. He never says Batman. He never says I'm Batman. And for the most part, in every Batman movie, we do get it. Now, we have the whole vengeance conversation.
Right.
I'm vengeance. That's his version of the Batman in this. But at the end, we get him saying, vengeance doesn't help other people as much as like hope
also gotta have
or
hope.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So I think in the next one we will see him transition from being vengeance to being the Batman. So I think in the next movie we will see it. I want to go around. Each person kind of can give one last final thought, just anything on their mind. But I don't think we can really talk about it anymore without seeing the movie a few more times. So Elton, final thought.
At this point, all I think about every other day, every hour on the day is which other Batman villains could they, stick into this universe and just bring them to our ground level, like reality level. Like now I'm thinking about Mr. Freeze, how the Thomas Wayne Foundation, there's more dirt, like, oh, he funded this whole restoration project and then it went left. The Court of Owls, more dirty politicians, more dirty cops. You find that they're a part of this whole underground society. Two-Face, of course, dirty lawyers. Like just I want to get to the nitty-gritty of all these villains and how they become who they are. And at some point, maybe even cartoon villains like who's that guy? He had like the Scarface doll.
Hush
and
is
Hush.
one.
Hush is
Hush
another one.
will be one. Hush will be one. I
They
mean,
they teased them.
Childhood friend.
Them, yep.
This has Harvey Dent written all over it, right? The district attorney just got killed.
100%.
This has political motivation just written all over this thing. So super excited about that. Elizabeth, final thoughts as we wrap up our Batman reaction.
Yeah, I also am like kind of the same way as Eldon is. I'm hoping that they bring Harvey Dent because I love that character so much, and I love that character so much in The Dark Knight that it's like we need more like Two-Face content. We didn't see him a ton, and I'd love to see him in the next sequel for sure.
By the way, Elizabeth. So I saw who's the guy that plays the Punisher in the Netflix series.
Oh, shoot.
John Bernthal.
A lot of people have been saying they want him to play Harvey Dent.
Ooh, okay.
That would be fucking.
That would be awesome.
The way he talks to himself and shit, yeah.
That would be very cool. I'm down for that.
Wow, that's great.
That's actually a casting I never would have thought of.
Yeah, like the first scene where the acid hits him, he's like the Punisher, he's screaming like,
that's good.
I need that.
Oh, that's good. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got to save that one. Connor, last thought here.
I know I was the one that said I thought it was a little too long. So I will say, I know you said, what would you cut out if you're going to complain about it being too long? And it's weird to say because I enjoyed both of these scenes for what they were. I just don't think they needed to be in the movie. And I think one of them was the final conversation between Batman and Catwoman. And then they kind of like ride off on the motorcycles together. I think if it ended on the shot of him kind of like lifting up the woman in the stretcher and stuff, if it ended on like that shot, perfect.
Yes.
I think that ending would have been just fine. But yeah, the conversation between the two of them, totally fine. Like it's a great scene in and of itself. But didn't really think it needed to be in it. And then the other one, which we didn't really talk about, the scene of the Riddler and the unnamed prisoner in Arkham talking to one another.
Yes.
The scene itself is really good.
Yeah.
I loved the scene. Just didn't need to be in the movie. And
opening scene in the Batman 2?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I know Matt Reeves was kind of like really I know he said that he actually wanted more of the Joker in the movie. He thought he was going to be kind of like a, Dr. Not Hannibal Lecter type of character for Batman. Like he was going to show up to the jail cell and the Joker was going to be there and be like, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, aren't we? Like saying, it's like oh wait, he put the Joker in jail like all this time. Is like one of his first villains that he took down, type of thing. Which I
Year
thought
one.
would have been cool. But
Yeah.
did I really need to see it in the movie? Probably not. But I think the guy who's going to play him, depending on where he shows up in these movies, Barry Kuhn, I think is how you say his name, was in Eternals, and he was really good in Eternals. But
Yeah.
I think he's going to crush it. I think he's going to be better than Jared Leto. I'll say that.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in what they'll do with the Joker, so I'm not worried about it at all. Two thoughts, I guess, before we bounce. The final just 20 minutes are kind of weirdly edited. Like, it feels like the movie ends like 15 minutes before the movie ends.
Right.
I don't know about if
Yeah.
you guys felt that in the theater, and then they essentially give our post-credit scenes
Yeah.
before the credits. So
Yeah, that was weird.
Yes, long runtime, but they essentially do what Marvel does, and instead of putting it behind the credits, they just put it in front of the credits. Just to go over how good the Riddler Batman interrogation scene really is. Didn't get to show it enough love during this conversation. That's okay. Like, we weren't going to be able to get to everything. We already went over 25 minutes long, so not a surprise.
We'll just say it has the most effective use of the word "no" in any film we've ever seen. Just no.
You can tell. I mean, that's what I was saying. It's like you can tell once he figured it out that Batman wasn't on set, the whole Riddler facade
just
vanished.
Gone.
Yeah.
Like, he lost it, and it's just like that's when Paul Dano really shined. And then he just starts singing Ave Maria really creepily.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like watching it. I'm like, oh my god, please stop, please stop, please stop.
Cringe in your seat, like,
oh, it's so creepy. Like, so good.
Guys, I'm so happy with the way the movie came out. I've been hyping this thing up for like 2 years, and I just had so much faith that it would be so good. So I'm very happy that we got to talk about it. Thank you all for joining me today to review the Batman. We can talk about more later on, but again, we've only seen it one time. So we did 46 minutes or whatever on one watch. So we can get together later and chat about it. But wow, was this a lot of fun. We gave away tickets to 4 people to go see the Batman. We gave away a 137pm t-shirt as well. So guys, this was a great movie, and we didn't mention it on air, but our goal is for one of us to attend the Batman 2 premiere.
2024. Let's go.
Let's go.
Long
Red
term,
carpet.
3-4 year plan. So thanks everyone. Lots of fun.